Today's game features Efim Narodizki playing as white against Mikhail as black. Move 1. White pushes to e4, preventing counterplay. Black advances to c5, improving the worst-placed piece. White knight hops to c3, establishing a spatial advantage. Black controls key squares with the pawn. This is the Sicilian, closed. Move 5. White pushes forward to g3. Now, black pushes to d5, equal chances for both sides. Interestingly, white bishop to g2. Black maneuvers the knight to f6, opening lines for the pieces. Interestingly, places the knight on e2. Black brings out the dark squared bishop. So, white opts for the short castle. Black castles short. And here, develops the knight to f4, keeping options open. Black takes the pawn with the pawn. On move 15, white knight captures pawn, offering material. Black responds with queen shifts to c7. White controls key squares with the pawn. Black repositions the knight to c6. White bishop to e3. Black pushes the pawn to b6. White maneuvers the knight to h5. Black knight takes knight. White bishop removes the knight. Black advances the pawn to f5. We're at move 25. White bishop takes knight. An inaccuracy. Black queen captures bishop. White plays knight jumps to f4. Black pushes the pawn to e5, preventing the opponent's plan. White knight to g2. So, pawn to f4, coordinating for maximum effect. White now plays pawn strikes, capturing the pawn. A questionable choice. Black responds with repositions the bishop, an error in judgment. White advances to f3. Moving forward, pawn takes pawn. We're at move 35. White places the bishop on d2, building a powerful attack. Black queen moves to g6. White deploys the rook to f2. Continuing, bishop slides to d6. Interestingly, white king steps to h1. Black queen to h5. White responds with plants the bishop on c3. Meanwhile, black slides the rook to e8, showing excellent endgame understanding. White queen moves to g1. Methodical conversion. Black responds with the pawn marches forward. Move 45. White rook to e1. Continuing, activates the king. White rook to e4. Black now plays activates the rook in the endgame. Next, rook captures the rook on e8. Black rook captures rook, converting with precision. White now plays activates the queen in the endgame. It's black's turn. Plants the bishop on e6. White bishop moves to d2, a questionable choice. Black places the bishop on d5. We're at move 55. White steps the king to g1. Black brings the rook to e6, bringing the pieces to ideal squares. White knight jumps to e1, demonstrating perfect technique. Black responds with advances the pawn to g4. Continuing, white pawn takes pawn, simplifying. Black queen takes pawn. With a powerful check, white now plays brings the knight to g2. Black king enters the battle. White bishop takes pawn. A dubious move. Black continues with bishop takes knight. The plan becomes evident. We're at move 65. White rook eliminates the bishop. Black takes the bishop with the queen, maintaining a clear advantage. Continuing, white brings out the queen to d1. Efim Narodizki resigns. Mikhail wins the game.